Hi everyone! Today I'm going to be showing you how to create the activities in your take-home art kit. Let's get started. In our first activity, we're going to be doing some printmaking. This activity is inspired by the exhibition By This Means by artist Rachel Yoder, currently on display at Gallery 2. Printmaking is one of the techniques that Rachel uses when she created her artwork. To make our prints, we're going to be carving our designs into these pieces of foam, and then we're going to roll paint onto them using a brayer. A brayer is a rubber roller that you use for printmaking. Let's start by carving in our designs. I'm going to be using just the end of a paintbrush in order to carve my design, but you can use a dull pencil or a toothpick or a ballpoint pen, whatever you have available. So all you have to do is just press into the foam and carve your design. So the one thing that you want to consider when you're carving your design is that all these lines, so all of these flowers, are going to be the color of the paper, and then all the other blank space is going to be the color of the paint. So you'll see once we start to actually make our print, but that's just one thing that you want to think about when you're making your design. Now that we've carved out our foam board, we're ready to start printing. So even though the paint provided is washable paint, this could get a little bit messy, so I just put down a piece of construction paper to help keep my desk clean. So the first thing you want to do is to get the paint on your brayer. So in your little paint tray, you're going to put in some paint. So I'm going to do green, I think. So I'm just gonna, you can actually use, if it's hard to get the paint out, I just used a popsicle stick or even the end of your paintbrush just to kind of pour some of the paint in. You don't need a ton. Then take your brayer and dab it into the paint and start rolling it on in your tray. You'll want to roll your brayer into the paint so that it's fully covered. Then take your foam sheet and roll the brayer over it to cover it evenly with the paint. So you may have to roll your brayer back into the paint in your tray a few times just until your foam sheet is fully covered in paint. Then take a piece of paper and carefully place it on the foam sheet and rub it with your hands just to make sure that the paint transfers nicely. Then just carefully peel off the paper to see your print. When you want to change colors, all you have to do is just rinse off all the paint in the sink and then you're ready to go. So I think I'm going to try blue this time. I really like the way that my prints turned out. The possibilities for printmaking are endless. I hope you enjoyed this one too, but let's move on to the next one. For our next activity, we're going to be creating Windcatchers, inspired by Prophecy Sun's video installation, Queering the Dams. In your kit, you're going to find a brass ring, some thread, feathers, and wooden beads to add to your Windcatcher, but you can also use anything else that you find around the house. I found some other beads, some buttons, and these really cute brass bells that I'm also going to add to mine. So first we're going to start by creating the top of our Windcatcher so that we can hang it. So just take your thread, and you'll need some scissors, and we're just going to cut some lengths of thread. You want to tie onto your ring. Now, if you find that it's too hard to string the thread through the beads, a trick to use is to use some tape. You can use Scotch tape or masking tape, and just take a little tiny square and wrap it around the end of your string. Just wrap it around so that you have a little tiny masking tape end, and then it's much easier to string your beads through. So now that we have a way to hang our wind catcher, we're gonna add strings along the sides here and add beads and feathers and anything else that you can find so that it makes really nice noise and movement in the wind. And there you go. Once you finish adding all your beads and your feathers and any other things that you find around the house, you can hang it up in a nice window or outside, maybe where it doesn't get rained on, and let the wind do the work. I really enjoyed making the activities in this take-home art kit. It was so much fun experimenting with printmaking and creating this really unique and beautiful wind catcher. I really hope you enjoyed them too, and be sure to send pictures of your artwork to us at programs@g2gf.ca.